Hello, you are watching tulipswift. Today I'm recommending my top 20 favorite books and book series. So this will take a while because there's so many books, so I'm gonna go real fast. If you watch a lot of booktube, you have read many of these series. As Nigel from So You Think You Can Dance says very well, it's not America's best dancer, it's America's favorite dancer. So although like The Infernal Devices, for example, is a great and beautifully written series, it's not one of my favorite series. So these are going to be ranked starting from number 20 going backwards. My number one's my favorite book. So if you're not going to watch the whole video, just like skip to the last few because it's not until the end of the video that I'm going to be talking about the books that I'm most passionate about. At number 20 is the Twilight Saga by Stephenie Meyer. It's like not very feminist, but I think it's a really great series, and like if you're not scared of people judging you and you haven't read it yet, go ahead. Number 19 is the Pretty Little Liars series by Sarah Shepard. I am like halfway done with the series right now. The first book is amazing, and if you want to just read the first book, like you can stop there. If you like high school romance, I think this is a great series for you. The Castor Chronicles, also known as the Beautiful Creatures series, and I fell in love with the movie. I thought it was captivating, so unique. I think this series is great if you really love like the supernatural and you love like reading about like complicated witchcraft and like the balance of the world. Especially the first book plays a lot on like the high school hierarchy and then how that fits into like the secret supernatural world. I met one of the authors from the series at BookCon. You should know a lot of people have put it down. Especially the second book they say is not as good. Next is the Maze Runner trilogy. The movies are absolutely fantastic. Don't be afraid to watch those first. I love this series because it's so heavy on the action, and behind that it's like an apocalyptic series. I think the Maze Runner is pretty split because you have some really intense fans like me, and then you have some people who really couldn't get into the first book. There's also a prequel book, and then he's coming out with another prequel book like September 27th. This is The Host. This is by Stephenie Meyer, who wrote Twilight. And there's a movie adaptation of this. It has bad reviews, but I think if you're a fan of the book, you will enjoy the movie. The alien invasion is so interesting, and that really sets this book apart from others. This book is really heavy on the romance aspect of it. Next is the Divergent trilogy by Veronica Roth. I met her at BookCon. She's amazing. This is one of the best dystopian YA series, you know, everyone talks about it. Next is a very well-known dystopian trilogy called The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. Better late than never, you should still read these. This trilogy is high on action. It can have some very dark themes. It has so much attention because it's a very believable world. I've heard some people having a negative experience with the second two, but you know, a lot of people like the first book. Okay, next I want to talk about the Throne of Glass series. This is by Sarah J. Maas. A lot of people are really into this. The last book is coming out soon, so you don't really have to wait that long if you want to start it now. It's really good with the kick-ass female protagonist. This series can be really dark and can be really intense. It can be really violent, but it can also be funny and steamy and cute. Next is a really fantastic series called Vampire Academy by Rochelle Mead. The main character is hilarious and she's like kick butt. You kind of get every side of YA. I think there are 6 books in this series, and once you read one, you gotta go straight into the next one. They're so much fun. It's a new take on vampires. The next series is by an amazing author, Tahira Mafi. It's called Shatter Me. This series is really heavy on characters and character development and friendships and romance. This series has a great affiliation with humans having powers and what that means. Good versus evil. I think it's so much fun. It's so fast-paced and romantic. Next is another dystopian trilogy. It's called TheDarkest Minds. Boy, I thought I was sick of dystopians, but I got to this baby pretty recently. Again, I met the author at BookCon. This is a very dark series. With that said, there are some amazing characters. Some of them are just like a spark of pure love and joy. The romance in this book is flawless. It's beautiful. It's addicting. It's real. They're up against so much, and this book also has kind of supernatural abilities. Fans of Vampire Academy and Divergent and Shatter Me and The Mortal Instruments, I think you would love The Darkest Minds. The next series is really for a select audience. It's kind of for a younger group, but I can't make my favorites video without mentioning it. It's the Princess Diaries by Meg Cabot. They're really heavy on what it's like to be a teenage girl. Yet in this newer one, it's like 2015, and Mia Thermopolis is in her 20s. I read this in middle school. I had so much fun. It's very unique and quirky, very, very cheesy and silly. Definitely at a lower reading level. I don't know, not a huge recommendation, but more of a, these books are good, now you know that. Now on number 7, The Series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket. There's like 13 of them, but they're really short. There will be a Netflix original series based on these. Even though they are middle grade, I think go ahead and read The Series of Unfortunate Events. You will be very satisfied that you read them once the Netflix phenomenon happens. They're really funny, yet they're very mysterious and dark, and there's like a very specific tone that Daniel Handler puts into these books that's unique, and I think it really sets them apart. Number 6, I kind of had my doubts if I should put this in there. It's the first book in a trilogy that just came out this year, The Dark Artificers by Cassandra Clare. You really don't get an introduction to the Shadowhunter world from starting The Dark Artificers. Cassandra Clare is like very awesome and feminist. There's great representation in all of her series for LGBTQIAPD. I love it. I absolutely loved Lady Midnight. Okay, the next one, you're gonna think I'm joking. This bonus Twilight thing that Catherine Hardwicke released. She's a great director, and she appeared in Misrepresentation for Females in Filmmaking. Anyways, I read it and I was like, I want to be a filmmaker because of this freaking director's notebook from Catherine Hardwicke. This is put together so beautifully. Catherine Hardwicke puts her heart and soul into every movie that she makes, and Twilight is no exception. I've read this 2 or 3 times. Every time I want to go to like film camp, or I'm kind of feeling stuck, or I just feel like I could never be a director, I could never do it, I just look into this and I look at her little notes, her little sketches, like every detail that she put into the first Twilight movie, which is one of my favorite movies ever. And it makes me feel inspired. It makes me feel like a part of a community. And filmmaking is such a beautiful artwork, and I love Catherine Hardwicke. It's The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. This is my nicer copy, which is not missing any pages. You know, you love Holden Caulfield or you hate him, there's no in between. I'm gonna read you what's on the cover of this edition. This unusual book may shock you, will make you laugh, and may break your heart, but you will never forget it. I think that's so true. I think the shock factor is why a lot of people are scared of it, and it's so bizarre sometimes. Holden will never say anything less than what he's feeling. I think if you don't like him, maybe you just don't understand him. Not only a narrator, not only a character, but like this, he's this whole brand of human being that's ignored and pushed aside and told that they're wrong and different, but just because he's scared, he feels uncomfortable a lot, and he doesn't like a lot of people. He's just having a hard time. This book is beautiful, it's hilarious, it's bad, it's twisted, it's wrong, it's angry. This book's sexist, yes. Mopey and stupid, yes, but so am I. So are a lot of teenagers in the world. Catcher in the Rye. Fantastic book. The Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling. Harry Potter goes so in depth into like every important theme that as humans we explore and discover. This series is very unique because the world is so real, and I think that's why there's a theme park, that's why there's 8 movies, that's why they're making a new movie, that's why there's spin-offs, that's why there's Pottermore. So if you haven't read Harry Potter in a while and you can't find anything you like to read, don't be scared to just go back and read it. You might find something you didn't find before. There's a lot in the books that doesn't make it to the movies, so maybe if you're really interested in the Harry Potter movies, you'll go backwards and read the books like I did. It's a huge part of pop culture, and it's coming back with Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. It's never too late to pick up Harry Potter. Like, I'm not gonna judge you. I'd rather you be reading it now than never. You guys were just waiting. You were just waiting for me to bring up this series. I'm talking about The Mortal Instruments by Cassandra Clare. So it seems really overwhelming when you have The Dark Artificers, Tales from Shadowhunter Academy, The Bane Chronicles, The Last Hours, The Mortal Instruments movie, The Shadowhunters TV show. Like, I'm getting overwhelmed just holding these 6 books. It all started with City of Bones. You can start on this one. If you don't enjoy it, you can stop. If you do enjoy it, you can read all 20,000 of them. If you want to know more about this series, I really recommend you watch the movie trailer or the TV show trailer. The movie and the TV show are very, very different. If you're interested in one or the other, or both, or you can just watch the show, it's a great universe. I enjoy every adaptation of the series. I enjoyed every series within the universe. I love everything, but I think my number one favorite has to be the first 6 Mortal Instruments books. They're amazing. I think they're so heavy on characters and relationships between characters, and there's some great villains, some complex family dynamics, which I think are so interesting, but mostly I think the friendships and the romance are so strong and real, and it really comes from the heart and soul, what these characters feel from each other and what they'll do to defend each other. I absolutely love the main character, Clary Frey. I think she's amazing. I love her growth throughout the series, and you start with her as a regular 16-year-old girl in the first book, and I think that makes it very approachable to get into as a fantasy series. They're teenagers, they're immature, they're funny, they make mistakes. The third book, City of Glass, is my absolute favorite. I love this book. Well, there are new covers, and the new covers are very nice. Like I said before, Cassandra Clare does a great job with representation and people of color. Okay, so I've had my channel for over a year, and I don't think I've ever talked in depth about my favorite book of all time. Once I read the book, I knew I was a sucker for this story. It's so beautiful and relatable. Stephen Chbosky does an amazing job. He wrote this book, and he wrote the screenplay for the movie, and he directed the movie. See, this is what the original cover looks like. It's very quirky. I think it kind of goes with the story. I think if you've ever felt alone, if you've ever felt sad and you felt like nothing would ever get better, you know, this book explores that. If you've ever wondered why you were alive, this book explores that. If you've ever just been like, I hate everything except this one band, this book explores that. This book does a great job with what it's like for this main character to struggle with mental illness. Different parts of this book can just like connect with so many different people, and the friendship in this book is so strong. Alright, so that concludes my recommending my top 20 favorite books and series of all time. This can change because I read great books and book series. Like, I've added, like, TheDarkest Minds was not in my last favorites video. So I hope this video was good for anyone who doesn't read a lot of young adult or just doesn't read in general, or, you know, maybe you're just interested in what my favorites are because you're a fan. Thanks for watching. I love you so much. Bye!